Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel Comics that began in the year 2000 that was meant to modernize and reimagine Marvel and its characters for the 21st century. Every week, every episode, Josh and I have been talking about a handful of issues from the original Ultimate Marvel, ranging from titles like Ultimate Spider-Man to Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate X-Men, The Ultimates, yada yada yada. And so what we like to do is just talk about the issues, what we think, what we like, what we don't like so much, what holds up to the test of time now that it's been like over 20 years, and what doesn't hold up so well, and overall just how these issues and these comics have made an impact on Marvel and its characters in comics and beyond, including movies, TV, animation, things like that. So this week, Josh and I are talking about Ultimate Vision, issues 0 through 5, a miniseries about the Ultimate Marvel version of the Vision, which is a radically different take, kind of a hybrid with the Vision and the Silver Surfer, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Josh, what
Uh,
do you think of these issues?
I like some of the ideas they had. I like the way they introduced some things. It did feel a little repetitive, like, oh, we're getting another Galactus story after we do Ultimate
Yeah.
Galactus. I did generally like the comic, I will say that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It retreads some of the same ground that we just went through in like Ultimate Extinction, which also had a minor appearance by the Vision, or a moderate appearance by the Vision. The Vision plays a crucial role in that story, but I do like that in this miniseries we actually dive deeper into the character of the Ultimate Vision and we explore more about this character. And yeah, we explore some interesting ideas and themes, like you were saying, Josh. But yeah, for the most part, I'm like, it feels like we've done some of this before.
I also, while reading it, get a lot of weird deja vu because I'm like, a lot of the weird sci fi stuff they're doing in this comic, they just did in real life. Except it wasn't even in secret. It was like, hey, this crazy religious science cult is just modifying genes and making cyborgs. Except this time, instead of doing it in secret, they just said it on Twitter that they done it, and we're just okay with it.
Yeah, as we'll talk about as we get more into these issues, yeah, the ideas from the Ultimate Vision miniseries that have to do with mad science and humankind taking things a little too far, you will see some of these ideas today in real life, which is kind of scary to think about.
Yeah.
Why don't we just dive right into it, Josh, and talk about these comics? We start with Ultimate Vision number 0. Now, this
Which
is a one shot that was written by Mark Millar and with art by John Romita Jr. So, a different creative team than the main miniseries, which is going to be Mike Carey and Brandon Peterson.
I don't want to be mean to Mark Millar, and I'm not. This is not like a dig at him. I actually think this is one of his best works in Ultimate Comics so far. This one shot was really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Ultimate Vision 0. It really explores a lot about the origins of this version of the Vision and more about who this character is. And it also takes place before the events of Ultimate Extinction. So it's really the Vision acting as a messenger, talking about what Ultimate Galactus does to planets and how the Vision came to be and everything the Vision has seen in her travels across the universe.
I will also say, like, I think on the list of comics it actually is like around the time of Ultimate Extinction, like not like best time wise, but like if we were perfectly reading it off the list, we would have done this during or before Ultimate Extinction too.
Yeah, if we actually followed the reading guide, we would have read this before Ultimate Extinction, which,
The
oops.
Yeah,
But
we both write the script. Actually, I'll say like most of the time, Nabil writes most of the script, but I generally create the script
yeah,
when I have free time. And sometimes you don't want to write Ultimate Vision plus Ultimate Extinction script for week 77 or something. You just write Ultimate Extinction, and Vision doesn't get on it.
this time we just like having all the issues together. So I
Yeah,
think it works well. If you just
yeah,
remember that this takes place before Ultimate Extinction,
yeah.
we're at the Triskelion, the headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D., where Sam Wilson and a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. engineers are working on the Vision who they found during the events of Ultimate Nightmare. And this Vision is like still mostly disassembled, mostly like in very like few pieces based off of what the Russians did, experimenting on her for like 80 years or so at least. And so it
uh,
looks more like the classic Vision from the main comics because it's like the red body. And as far as I knew, this was a man. So I'm sorry I misgendered Ultimate Vision. That was so
Well,
wrong of me.
so spoilers, you did not misgender Vision because they literally only start calling her her once she takes a female form. So that I see, so you could just so it seems to have a fluid gender. So at this point, it's still a male.
Right. As far as, and yeah, the Vision does change form a lot in these comics, as we'll see. Just gender fluid. But
Yeah,
yeah, Sam Wilson is working on the Vision, and above the lab, we have Reed Richards watching and checking in on Sam, being like, "Yeah, we have like a giant think tank upstairs that they've got like 200 of the smartest minds on Earth just like working on the Galactus problem." But Sam is like not gonna join. He's like, "No, like it sounds like you guys are getting nowhere, and my work is most valuable here with the Vision, who I've been like assigned to work on because I think we have the best chance of getting any information about Galactus from this being that we found, this robot, alien robot."
we also learn Reed's 19 and he calls Sam Dr. Wilson. So Sam has a PhD, and I'm kind of like, man, they already said like Reed has multiple PhDs. I'm like, I'm like, wow, that's that's crazy that they're so young and they're already doctorates.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are way ahead of the curve. These are the real geniuses here.
Yeah, it's crazy because before I went to college, I thought like, oh, like do people just have multiple doctorates? And the answer
Yeah.
is no.
No, most people do not have
Most
multiple doctorates, let alone one doctorate.
at our university, there was one guy who almost got two.
Damn.
And yeah, I know, and his was like a weird case. And he said, look, it's not possible now because like back then, my two fields, math and computer science, were so intertwined. You could have gotten both at the same time. You can't do that anymore.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just general advice to all those listening, don't even think about getting multiple doctorates. One doctorate is risky enough as it is,
It takes
depending
20
on
years
your
to get one.
field. It takes a lot of time. Yeah, just like if you get one, just get one and get out. Don't try for more than that.
Yeah. Why would you? Once you're getting one, it's like 30 years of school right there.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, it's insane. Unless you
Yeah.
love being in school and just want to be there forever
Yeah.
and can rack up like endless debt.
But also, if you get a doctorate, you're already in school. What else are you going to do? You're going to stay in school, teach, or
Yeah,
do research. You're already in
that's
school.
true. Yeah, if you want to be a professor.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving past our college counseling session, they're working on the Vision for a bit, and then the Vision's cerebral cortex finally lights up. They like get something, and then the Vision starts using like a bunch of its picobots to like these tiny little, similar to nanobots, to reassemble itself. Like its body is being reassembled like mentally. Like all these pieces are obeying the Vision's commands, and now all of a sudden she has become the sexy alien robot lady that we
Yeah.
see in Ultimate Extinction, like all gold, boobs,
Boobs.
clearly. Yeah, because why not? Taken on a whole different form, this is a totally different character than the Vision we see in the main universe.
If you think about it, I don't know why she needs boobs because, like, if we lived in a planet full of dinosaur or lizard people, they wouldn't have boobs. Only reason humans have boobs is because we're mammals.
Yeah,
Because
so I
of
think the
milk.
Vision was just like, how do I appeal to the human form?
And it works because Sam develops a huge crush on her. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, she didn't
it
know what
works.
yeah. It's also interesting because she was originally a satellite. She reveals she takes Sam into this vision quest. She goes like she does the holograms things, and Sam sees
Yeah.
everything.
This is like the big backstory we get for Ultimate Vision, where she like shows Sam the first civilization she ever visited.
And she was a satellite.
Yeah, she was a satellite. Sam was like, "You look like an old Cold War satellite." And she was like, "To be fair, the planet I came from, which we don't really know what it is, but they had weeks to assemble her. So,
Yeah.
like, give them some credit. They did what
Yeah.
they could in the time they were given."
Yeah. She was discovered by these people that look like candy corns.
Yeah. They're like these orange and yellow color schemed like aliens, and she says that it's a world that has an unpronounceable name that existed like 500 million years ago. And yeah, they like have this strange color scheme, and then they have alien names that again are also unpronounceable and unknowable to human language. And they spent generations trying to decipher the message that was left on the Vision.
They give her to like their version of Reed Richards to figure it out.
Yeah, and this guy like works hard. She says he's a nice guy, like very devoted, but like after like 8,000 years he finally dies, which is crazy. Like these aliens have an insane lifespan, and like generations and generations and generations, and finally this one guy cracks the code that says like Galactus is upcoming. And by that time, it has been so many millennia that they have like 3 months before Galactus shows up. So I'm like, damn, that's rough, guys. All this time only to find out you've got 3 months left. If
but
only they'd known.
but there's a thing where they put more information into Vision and send her out to other planets to go like, hey, eventually one planet's gonna survive.
This planet is full of like the nicest beings you'll ever find because they're like, all right, well, we don't have time to flee. Also, she's like, yeah, there was no real like class system or anything, so no one's just like leaving with a small group of like elite people. They're all just working together to prepare the Vision for another planet so they can like deliver the message in a timely manner and like save more people. And I'm like, damn, these are like some of the most benevolent, compassionate aliens I've ever met.
They're space hippies or space commies, whichever you prefer.
They're good people and they're nice, which sucks because then they're like about to die and they're like, all right, let's just make it easier for the next planet. They're not
And,
just like, oh, I guess we're fucked. They're like, no, let's send the Vision somewhere where like people can learn about Galactus faster than we did.
and they kind of, because different planets she arrives on, they always add upgrades to her, but they always try different things. Like she lands on a planet that's 100% engineers,
Yeah.
and they develop super weapons. They're like, we're gonna kick Galactus's ass, and she goes like, yeah, they died in an hour once Galactus showed up.
Yeah. Like they got wiped out too.
But it's really
Yeah.
nice that all these species, they always like after a while it seems they try like offensive measures, but they always like put upgrades into Vision to like warn other
Yeah.
planets.
So she's upgraded to the point where she like can shapeshift, take on like any form, and also like take on and learn and communicate in the language of like any world that she visits.
Yeah. She finds a planet of like really good builders. They build like a cube around their planet, saying like it doesn't work. Galactus breaks into the cube.
Yeah, there's like all sorts of like there's a whole montage practically of the Vision talking about like all the planets she's visited. Like you're saying, the engineer race, there's a techno-organic species.
They create a mind virus.
Yeah. And there's like
Yeah.
a race of superhumans that can take on mini suns or stuff. They're all wiped out.
Yeah.
And there is a big splash page that is like just this silhouette that looks like classic Galactus's headpiece, like 616 Galactus, like the
No.
big purple dude, which is funny because you're thinking like, did this swarm, this hive mind, did they just create the shape of this headpiece just to look intimidating? But yeah, she goes on like this big speech about how humanity has this like exponential learning curve and like all she's learned about humanity since like being there. And she's like, you guys have advanced more in the last 5 decades than you did in like the previous 5 billion years combined, which is crazy to think about.
Well, I mean that's true, right?
Yeah, which is super impressive. I mean, like, not to toot our own horn as a species, but damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, we're just advancing at an exponential rate. Like, go humanity.
I know. It's kind of crazy that like a few thousand years ago, most of us were dirt farmers, and now we're talking on different sides of a continent somehow.
Yeah, we're just sitting here talking about comics because we can, because technology has enabled us
Yeah.
to talk from one coast to the next at the same time.
I also think that I think Vision says like she helped some of the previous like civilizations develop technology to fight Galactus too.
Yeah,
Like
but like to no avail,
yeah.
sadly.
Also, I feel like she's a little pissed. She's like, hey, all these other civilizations, they like work together. I worked with them to fight Galactus. You guys just tortured me for 80 years.
Yeah.
In fact, you guys ate me
I
multiple
came here to
times.
help you, and like the Soviets just like kept me in captivity and created super soldiers with all my different parts.
You guys hate me.
Every time I regenerated, you just tore off another part. Like, that's gratitude for you. You know what? Fuck you. Never mind. You're not so amazing anymore.
Fuck
Like,
you.
exponential learning my ass.
You guys are a racist planet. You just
Yeah, just because like this alien robot comes to help you.
the
Yeah,
nuke
goodbye.
the nuke people work together and then still put info into my computers so other people could benefit. You guys just tortured me for the sake of it.
I'm like, yeah, maybe we're not so great after all. We're a
Yeah.
flawed people.
Yeah.
But she also says the Vision talks about how she's like inspired by the compassion of the people on Earth. It cuts to different heroes and villains across Ultimate Marvel. You see up in this think tank, Reed and Sue of the Fantastic Four, they're like holding hands. Also, Stephen Hawking's there, I noted. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking cameo.
Yeah.
And then you have like a shot of like Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch making peace with their father Magneto as he's in
Yeah.
prison.
And they're holding hands and hugging, which is a bad sign if you know what happens to those characters.
Yeesh, yeah.
Yeah.
If like you've already seen what's been hinted heavily in the Ultimates, but like, yeah. I'm like, all right, focus on your dad, not each other.
Steve Rogers is in a church praying.
Like the good Christian boy he is.
Uh-huh.
And Wolverine is meditating as Jean Grey is with him, and she's like, "Are you all right, Logan?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good with dying. Like I've been waiting for my time." And Jean is like there, and she's like, "Well, I just wanted to tell you something, like just in case like there are any regrets." And he shuts her down so fast. Logan's like, "Yeah, whatever you're gonna say, don't say it. Like it's fine." And I was like, wow, that's like a rare moment of morality for Ultimate Wolverine. He's like, nah, I don't need it.
Well,
I've caused enough trouble as it is. Like, I don't need to talk about this anymore. I
look,
know where this path leads.
he might die soon. You know, he wants to make peace with God and make sure he's on the good list before he visits the big North Pole in the sky, as they say.
What, is he going to Santa's workshop?
No, it's a euphemism for death.
Big North Pole in the sky?
Yeah, the sky pole.
Someone never stopped believing in Santa. Bless your heart. And then the Vision is like getting her ship ready and repairing it. She's getting ready to get the fuck off this planet.
Yeah.
She's talking about like, yeah, all this stuff, and you guys couldn't even stall Galactus. Like, I've seen everything you've got. Like, good luck. And she's heading to like the next solar system. She's like planning to warn other planets, just doing her thing. And she's like, extinction is on the way, Sam. And then the last page is another shot of the giant headpiece once again, trying to make it look like original Galactus, when we know that's not what that is.
You know, every species puts something that they learned into her, except humanity. Just saying.
Yeah. They do. They just like, you know, take parts of the Vision and then turn it into super soldiers. They just take the wrong lessons from this creature. They're like, actually, instead of like taking your message and like doing more to stop Galactus from coming, what if we created Russian super soldiers instead? That's the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, Captain America was pretty useless, in this arc, let's be honest. Other than getting Vision, he was not the most important character.
Yeah, because that's like the point, right? How much can someone like Captain America do in the face of like global Armageddon? I feel like so many characters feel powerless in the face of that.
Yeah.
The ones that really can do the most are like the big minds of the world, like Reed Richards and like Charles Xavier, Tony Stark, you know?
Maybe Doctor Strange in another universe, because he's just sitting around doing nothing.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Doctor Strange in Ultimate is just like his father's son, really. He's Mr. Strange Jr.
It's a Nepo baby, as they...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ultimate Doctor Strange is a Nepo baby. But this was an interesting issue. I really liked it. It's funny because like Mark Millar was originally on board to write like the Ultimate Galactus trilogy, but like couldn't because of health reasons, so it was given to Warren Ellis. But like this was a very insightful issue about like Ultimate Vision as a character, where she came from, her whole background, and just like her purpose as a character. And it was a really good issue 0 that's not just like establishing like her role in this trilogy, but also like as a springboard for this miniseries. So that was my favorite part of this.
Yeah.
And now we get to Ultimate Vision by Mike Carey and Brandon Peterson.
Turns out Vision didn't leave. Basically, the first few pages are just us reliving the end of Ultimate Extinction. Vision blast. But it's nice to see the behind the scenes of like how it went behind the scenes, though.
Yeah, because you get a lot of it from the Vision's perspective this time, which is really cool. Like, and about how in awe she is of humanity as they stand up to Galactus. She's saying stuff, talking about Galactus, saying, "You looked into the eyes of these all too mortal men and women, and you flinched." And I was like, ooh, that's cool. The writing is like on point in terms of the narration and like the inner monologue for the Vision throughout.
Maybe it's because it's in 2025 we've heard this dialogue every Superman show, every Doctor Who episode, where you go like, you're an alien race, but you couldn't understand the fight or the heart in humanity. I'm like,
it's the human spirit. The triumph of the human spirit.
So the candy corn people didn't have spirit? They didn't want to live hard enough? Is that what it was?
They just could not decipher the message fast enough, unfortunately.
What about the planet full of engineers? They didn't have heart? They just rolled over? Is that what you're implying?
They were smart, but they didn't have grit and human emotion. They had no poetry in their souls. They were all engineers. They're not humanities majors.
All right, Cormac McCarthy. That's another humanities joke.
But it's really cool.
Yeah.
I love seeing like the Vision before, when she had no hope for humanity, and now she sees them doing it and she's just like mesmerized and amazed.
I don't know how much of a continuity there is with this and Zero, but I do agree with you that one, that it is nice to go like, I have no hope in you humans. You guys are a racist planet that just wasted 100 years, to like, no, there's heart in you.
Yeah, like you got something there.
Yeah.
And so then we get to post Ultimate Extinction. Vision's saying goodbye to Sam Wilson, and she's talking about how she needs to warn other planets about Galactus as he makes his way across the galaxy. And there's a sweet moment where she's like, is this appropriate? And she like hugs him, and they thank each other for their help. And it's really funny because as she gets ready to fly away, then he's like, why do I always fall for the wrong kind of woman? And I'm like, dude, it's an alien robot, you sick fuck.
You horn dog. You disgusting horn dog.
Again, not that I agree with Josh about horn dogs. It's okay if you like sex and are attracted to people sexually, obviously, because this is like the 21st century. But an alien robot? Like, really, dude? Wrong kind of woman indeed. My God.
She may not have known what a female was until like a few months ago.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not going to work for you, buddy. I don't know what you're thinking.
But you should admit, Ultimate Comics is a little horn doggy. It's too horn doggy in the most problematic way.
A good chunk of the time, yeah. Especially if it's Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah. I think Professor X would have been on Epstein's Island.
If you're talking about Ultimate Professor X, 100%.
Yes.
Ultimate Professor X would have. Ultimate Wolverine would have been there. Ultimate Magneto would have been there.
Ultimate Wolverine will probably not have been invited, let's be fair.
Yeah, they're like, this guy is too much for us. Like, my God. What a freak.
He might eat someone.
Yeah. Magneto especially would not be invited. He might eat someone.
Yeah. Also, I will be fair to Ultimate Wolverine at the last second. Every girl he's with is technically at least 18 in one day. None of them are technically underage.
That's true.
Which is not a great defense, but still.
But then the Vision is, she's going out into space, and then all of a sudden she gets like a signal, this transmission that's sent out by this satellite just hovering above Earth. So she like phases in, and like the people in the satellite are like, yes, the lure has been set.
They also discuss what her gender is, and they have like a short discussion. They go like, is she a she now? And they go like, yeah, she's taking on a female form. We think she's a she now.
I'm like, good. Establishing pronouns. Let's do it.
That's very progressive for like, what, 2004?
That's very progressive for like mysterious satellite of scientists that are morally dubious, to say the least.
We're introduced to Dr. George Tarleton, and this is Kalesa Station.
And it's like a satellite like laboratory. So Dr. Tarleton takes her like around, takes the Vision around the lab, showing like there's this one lab where they're producing like mutations in like different viruses. There's one where it's like they're working on linking the nervous system of two twins so they can like work on psychic communication with people.
They also created a learning and living person.
Yes, there's a child that they created from plastics named Dima, and yeah, I'm like, oh my God, there's a child here. There's a synthetic child you've created.
And this is all stuff that like we found out like some guys in Silicon Valley are kind of trying to do.
Yeah, it's scary. I'm like, oh, this is all too real today. These are the kind of experiments that like, you know, billionaires and people with a lot of resources are trying to work on now.
Yeah, inspired by this, unfortunately, inspired by sci-fi.
Like, these are mad scientists, dude. These guys do not seem right to me.
It's also funny because when Elon Musk said he just did some of the stuff, people were just responding on Twitter like, hey man, isn't this how like every sci-fi horror story starts? With the mad scientist just telling the world, yeah, I just connected some people to machines.
Yeah, like seriously.
Yeah. He also says like, oh, so we're monks, and she goes like, you're religious? And like, no, we're monks, and that like we're just trying to advance humanity. And I'm like, oh, we're now just getting weird AI cults too. So
yeah, no, seriously.
I told Nabeel there's a Snyder cult, by the way, which I'm kind of surprised by.
We can get into that in a separate time. But the Vision is already like, you know, I've met some of these like heroes. You don't seem like one of the heroes that I've met on this world. Like, she's already suspicious. And then the big reveal is that they have like an inert piece of the Galactus swarm that was left behind after Galactus left the planet. So they have like a piece of this swarm, and Vision's like, you need to get rid of this thing. But
And
they're
they're
like,
like,
no, we want your help so we can interface with this thing. We can activate it, talk to it, and then we can send the command to this swarm for it to self-destruct. We want to destroy Galactus, is what they say.
basically they want to make a virus, basically, right?
Yeah. And so she's like, okay, like, let's give this a shot. And then Tarleton is like hooking her up to this thing and mentioning like, oh yeah, I looked at like the schematics from when you were held in captivity. And she's like, by the Russians that like tortured me for 80 years. Let's make this fast because I really don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
And Tarleton is like, oh yeah, if you want to like, do something right, you really have to take a risk. Like, he's like, I've altered my own biology, and he like rips
Yeah.
off his shirt. He's got like cybernetics in most of his body. Like, he has altered himself to a crazy degree.
Which we're also getting to.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah.
And so they hook the Vision up to Galactus. They manage to like power it on, and then at that point, like, Vision's like, something's wrong, this feels wrong, and like disconnects herself and deduces, Tarleton, you want to control Galactus. You don't want to destroy it. You want to control it.
I get that. Like, why is it okay for Doctor Doom to try it, but this guy, when he does it, it's evil?
It's not okay when Doctor Doom does it.
We all okay, but like when he does it, he's successful.
Yeah, but like, he's also evil. Is this like the storyline where Doctor Doom steals the Silver Surfer's powers back in the 60s and goes riding around on his surfboard and like terrorizing humanity, and the Fantastic Four have to stop him? Like, that was a bad time for all except Doom.
Here's the thing: when he does it, it's like it all goes wrong. But when Doctor Doom does it, he says, "I'm gonna fix humanity and end suffering and hunger after I have some fun first."
He's like, don't worry, I'll do it. First, I want to just torment Reed Richards for a second.
Which is a very Doctor Doom-esque thing, that like, you have
Yeah.
all the power in the world, like your first step is to fuck with Reed Richards just because you can.
Yeah, just because I can, and just because fuck him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why is when Doctor Doom does it, it's like kind of successful. When he does it, spoilers, it just goes completely wrong.
Because we can't all be the greatest Marvel villain of all time. You know? We
Yeah.
can't all be the most evil to have ever done it. But yeah, then Galactus is online, so it's too late, and they get Galactus to blast the Vision. And at the last page, it's revealed that this is AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics,
Yeah.
who's notorious throughout Marvel for being like the mad scientists of Marvel. And I looked it up later. Why did the name George Tarleton sound familiar? It's because that's the name of the original MODOK before he transformed himself into MODOK.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah, so this guy is like ultimate MODOK in a sense. Obviously, he is not more MODOK here, but I was like, oh, that makes sense. This is like the head of AIM.
Yeah. You know, okay, this is me being ignorant, but what even is the goal of AIM in 616? Like,
they want to like advance science for money.
But there's a lot of groups that do that, like in real life, and they're mostly not evil. Some of them are evil now, but
But they go and they surpass any boundaries, any morals, any ethics, anything that could be considered illegal, and they'll do it. It doesn't matter.
Well, I never understood that. Maybe it's because in real life we're to the point where we just deregulate, and now you could just do it for the sake of doing it.
They deal with like terrorists, like Hydra.
Oh, that's true. I always remember them because in all the comics, they're dressed up in hazmat suits that make them look like bee people.
Yeah, they look like beekeepers is always the joke. They're always dressed up in those yellow hazmat suits.
Yeah.
So now this whole series now has become the Vision versus AIM, which, like it or not, I was kind of hoping we'd see the Vision like go out and like take on Galactus in space, but
yeah.
We can't always get what we want.
We had to introduce AIM. I mean, like, AIM is like with a beehive, with MODOK. It's one of the goofier parts of Marvel that a lot of people don't know. And I'm like, well, the good thing about Ultimate is any of these universes is little by little you introduce the goofier stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So had to happen eventually.
And here they do look like bee people, except instead of hazmat suits, it's spacesuits and flight suits.
Yeah, they look a little less goofy here, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then we start off the second issue with Tarleton hooking Galactus up to his own cybernetics. so he can like have the power for himself. And one of the doctors, Dr. Mahmoud, is telling him like, hey, we were only supposed to like access and analyze Galactus's weaponry, not like use it for ourselves. And Tarleton is like, well, I am accessing and analyzing it, and like our superiors aren't taking any risks, and how are you going to achieve anything if you don't risk anything? So he kills the other guy, he kills Dr. Mahmoud with the Galactus weaponry. And so you can already tell like, oh, this guy's going mad with power.
You know, do you think this is the basis for AIM? If you remember, AIM was in the MCU.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I only realized that was AIM like my third watching of Iron Man 3.
Yeah, he mentions it right at the beginning. He says advanced idea mechanics.
Yeah, but I only noticed it at like one of my future rewatchings. But they do, isn't their big thing like they're modifying people, which is happening here? Do you think this is the basis of it, or no? Do you think that's just a coincidence?
Might just be a coincidence there.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was a lot of basis for that in other Marvel comics too.
Yeah.
Then we cut to now two guys are like taking out the trash. And one of the guys is like, there's some really cool stuff in here, you know? It's like not just ordinary trash. You get like weapons and like lasers and like robots, like, because then you have the vision in the trash.
Yeah.
And it really sounds like, honestly, our dialogue. Because one of the guys is like, you don't see the poetry, man. You got no soul. And this is like Josh going on one of his crazy tangents and being like, yeah, you don't see the poetry. You got no soul. You got to be a warrior poet. Be a lion. Don't be a horn dog.
Talking of horn dogs, the other one goes like, I see the vision in it. We could make some techno ambience together. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I don't like the sound of this. What is up with people falling in love with this robot?
I don't know. Some people have weird fetishes. But yeah, it is a funny, kind of cute like play on like, oh, we could have made beautiful music together. Now he's saying we could have made some techno ambient together. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny.
And the guy responds with, eat my butt. Which, more reference to butt eating.
Yeah, it's funny how you keep noticing that.
It's because it keeps coming up.
Oh, of course. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But then AIM, meanwhile, is making like a ransom video to hold the world hostage, which is like the big plan of Dr. Tarleton. He wants to hold the world hostage with the power of Galactus.
As much as, and you and I both agree that like, I did find like, oh, we're doing another Galactus story right after we just finished Galactus, a little annoying. I did like this message where like, it's like, hey, you guys remember Galactus? How like a day ago we like spend most of the economy and like trillions of everything to beat him? Well, like give us more or we're gonna send him back.
Yeah, I think this series really emphasizes like the greed of a lot of humanity and how so many humans will like, they literally just saved the world from Galactus for the human race, and there are some people that are still like, but we want to profit off of this, and so we're gonna reactivate this piece of Galactus and hold the world hostage so we can make money.
I think I don't know if there's other aliens out there. You and I, Nabeel, at this point don't know in real life if there's other aliens out there, but I think one common thing of human literature is that humans are inherently greedy. That's why we have stuff like religion and stuff, is just to remind us that we're greedy. And it kind of reminds me of like in environmental studies, one professor said like, hey, you know, the people who are going to hurt the most from climate change are going to be the ones who fight it the most, and the ones who benefit the most are the ones who are going to fight it the least. And here's this guy, like, we just solved this problem and want to like face it again.
He's bringing it back up again just so he can benefit and like reap the rewards, honestly. And he's talking about how like, you know, with the money that they make, they're going to like build an empire of the rational. He calls himself an idealist. And he talks about like a lot of these like eugenicist ideas. He's like, people who want to breed will be paired up based on genetic compatibility. And we know what that means.
Yeah. It's also crazy because there's Silicon Valley cults, these tech cults that are now part of our government that still believe in this shit again.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
this
crazy.
Is all too real. This is scary and how real it is today.
Yeah. I did like one quote though. Sexual desire will cease to tyrannize us. That's objectively.
I thought you'd like that, you freak. Yeah.
It's the opposite of freak.
Yeah, because this guy, just like Josh, wants to get rid of the horn dogs.
Yeah.
So maybe that should tell you something, Josh. Maybe you should get a hard look in the mirror and realize just what this sounds like.
No, I'm opposed to eugenics. That's messed up. That's racist.
This just reminds me of what, like, a friend of the pod, a longtime follower and two-time guest, Cameron Hamilton said. You remember what he said to you, what he sent you on Instagram when you guys were chatting?
Go ahead.
I want to make sure I get the quote just right. But basically, what he said was, "You sound like a comic villain that thinks he's doing the right thing." That's you, Josh.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the other quote that like, "You are a horn dog, Josh. Just embrace it."
Well, that too. Stop denying the truth.
um, he also talks like, we're like a suicide bomber," and I'm like, oh, that was like a very relevant thing in the 2000s, which
Yeah.
that is something that's kind of garnished. Not that it doesn't happen, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
But like, it is very relevant for sure to real life,
yeah,
past and present.
yeah.
And he's talking about like, yeah, society will reap the benefits of science, except for those that we deem unfit. And then it shows a panel of people being like dumped out into space, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, this guy is mad with power.
yeah. It's this thing where he goes like, "I'm an idealist and I believe in science for everyone, except the people I don't like." It's like there's a level of
Yeah.
hypocrisy in it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's just like any dictator, like on the face of the planet, honestly.
I like to think there's an alternate universe out there where Vision goes from the next planet and she goes like, all the species failed to stop Galactus except humanity, who beat Galactus and then brought him back because they couldn't help themselves because they were greedy.
Yeah, because they're greedy idiots. But then before they can even finish like this ransom video, they lose power. Tarleton like snaps at the guy recording. He's like, "What, do you want me to deliver my ultimatum in the mail?" And he's like losing it. He's like tossing people around and he's like really tense, and you can tell like all the other scientists are like, this guy's going a little nuts.
Yeah. Also, added context about this guy, he revealed that he was invited to the meeting to stop Galactus. He just didn't go.
That I don't know. I might have missed that part if they mentioned that, but that would
It
be
was in
interesting.
Vision 1 where he says like, I was invited to study the Vision and help with the Galactus, but I was busy and just didn't show up.
I was busy plotting to steal a piece of Galactus, use his power, and threaten the world for money. That's
So
what he
this
was
guy's
busy with.
this guy's an extra piece of shit because he actually had the opportunity to help and he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So he sucks big time. And then a bunch of scientists are like analyzing Galactus, and then they find like a bunch of like biostorage units in Galactus. And one of the guys gets exposed to this virus that comes out of the unit, and it turns this guy into like basically an alien zombie, just
Yeah.
like it was said in like Ultimate Extinction. That's one of the phases of like Galactus's like procedure in wiping out the planet, is that they will get infected with this like zombie alien virus.
Yeah.
So this guy turns into this zombie alien. He infects the other guy working with him.
It's also really interesting because usually when zombies attack each other, there's the guys who are not infected are the guys in the suits. In this
Mhm.
case, the in guys in suits are getting infected. They're smashing each other's like visors to get into the other guy.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
by the time we're gonna see the zombie horde, they're all in their suits still, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is.
They're beehive suits.
Then we cut to Dima, the little synthetic child made out of plastic, and she's contacted about, oh, do you want to play another game? Because she's just been sitting there playing this game where you like guess the color of the block, like from the other side. And then she's like, yeah, I want to play something else. And it's clearly the Vision contacting her, because it's like, here's this point where I am, here's the point where you are, come find me. And so like the challenge is you have to like go like undetected and unseen. Meanwhile, a good chunk of the station is put under lockdown, and the bay where the scientists were is sterilized because like they can tell something is wrong. They don't see the zombies yet, but they're like, something's wrong out there.
Dead Space, man. It's all Dead Space.
Game over, man. Game
Yep.
over.
Have you ever played Dead Space as a kid or no?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's such a good game and story.
I gotta check it out then.
Yeah, real fun. Dima finds Vision, and Vision tells her to remove this thing that's blocking her from repairing herself. She removes it. Guards show up, but by then it's too late. Vision is back on. Her systems are back online.
Yeah, exactly. So Vision's able to like save Dima from some of these guards.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, people are sent in to confirm the status of the troops that the AIM lost contact with. The ones that we saw were infected. So this group called D Team, which really shows their confidence in this team if they're called D Team. It sounds bad. Like it sounds like they're very much on the lower list of people they'd choose. But D Team is sent in to confirm the status. They find a bunch of empty astronaut suits, and then they're like, where are they? And then they see a bunch of these like nightmarish purple monsters that like attack them. And then also like there's an explosion, and that means that the satellite is being taken out of orbit So Tarleton emerges from his chambers because he's been meditating this whole time, and he's way more machine than man at this point. Like, the only thing human about him is literally his face. Like, his head is mostly machine and cybernetics, and he's been taken over by the Galactus system because he's like, I will take Galactus to Earth. And meanwhile, the purple monsters are attacking DT.
It kind of reminds me of like the Lex Luthor Brainiac merger in the cartoon way back in the day.
In Justice League Unlimited, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it feels just like that. Like Dr. Tarleton's like merged with the Galactus swarm is just like Lex Luthor being infected with Brainiac.
Yeah. But some more goals-ish too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny how that works out. This was like around the same time too. So
Oh, it was?
yeah, this was like
sense.
the mid 2000s. I mean, Justice League Unlimited probably had ended at this point just recently, but 2006.
Yeah.
And then issue 3 starts with Tarleton giving a big monologue about how, like, Galactus recruits the living for the cause of death, and about how they're all going to serve their purpose. But yeah, just as the monster is defeated, like you said, Josh, it's back, because this guy's like Galactus's herald now.
Yeah, he's fully merged. He's fully dedicated to the cause of Galactus.
Yeah, he's going on about like death by fire is a mercy. You should all be grateful that we're all going to burn up on re-entry. And then he starts like killing his own people too because they start attacking him.
Because, this guy's insane now.
Yeah, no, he's lost it. So he's just fully serving Galactus and he's fully just like killing his own people, shooting them down.
But it's still a dick because he goes like, this will show up in your next quarterly review. And I'm like...
Yeah, that was like, man, insult to injury.
The whole point of the end of the world is you don't have to go to work. And I'm like, what? No.
Yep, they still are going to get quarterly reviews even as the world ends. Like, that sucks.
That would be like... I bet out there if we found out like the world's gonna end in January 7th, there's gonna be a company that goes like, we still expect you to be at work at 8 a.m.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't even use sick time for this? Do I have to use PTO? Like, come on.
It's like, why? You guys won't exist by January 9. You guys want to...
Like, it's all gonna be over.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We all know it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, though. I feel that deep in my soul.
Did you watch the Justice League animated movie where, like, the world's ending and Darkseid just took over Earth?
Was that, like, Justice League Apocalypse or something?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. I heard, like, all the DC characters just died, though.
It's kind of like a more digestible version of Ultimatum, but there's like a thing where LexCorp still exists on Earth to extract resources and to do mining and construction for Darkseid, and I'm like, wait, the Earth is ending and there's a company still out there employing people? And it's revealed they're still employing like construction workers and miners, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, just let them go home, man.
Yeah.
Let them live the rest of their lives in peace. The money doesn't even matter at this point anymore. The world's ending.
I know. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Kill me? The world's gonna end in 3 days.
Yeah, come on. We're already dead. But the purple alien monsters on the ship are still like attacking, and the Vision meanwhile is with Dima and trying to like remotely take control of the station. And then a bunch of the monsters start attacking Dima, so Vision has to like defend her. And there's this interesting internal monologue where Vision thinks about like her purpose to like not just to like observe and communicate information, but also like protecting life.
Yeah.
But that even if that means in this case harming others, like these like people that have turned into like zombie aliens, but she still has to protect Dima.
That actually is a fear I know amongst AI people, is that like, well, if we tell robots you can't harm anyone, will their other instincts go beyond that and they will start harming people?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's also kind of scary if you think about it.
No, I know what you mean there.
Yeah. Also, Vision usually, if you read 616, could shoot lasers out of his forehead. This Vision can't, even though the forehead laser thing is still there. So she just has an axe and uses like martial arts to kick purple aliens and chop them up with an axe.
And we'll see later, she has other means of combat, which should be interesting. But Tarleton arrives and is like, let's see what your melting point is, and starts blasting the Vision with heat.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, back at the Triskelion on Earth, Nick Fury is like, the satellite is crashing, like, send everyone to this point and let's like just fire everything at it. Let's just blow it up. And it's like his guys are like, this is a highly populated area, it's gonna crash over. And he's like, yeah, well, I'll raise it at my next confession then.
Yes.
God forgive me, but we do what we gotta do.
I think they say you need presidential authority and goes like, fuck that. This guy,
Yeah.
Nick Fury has an ego now. He's like, I beat Galactus. I could do whatever I want.
He's like, I'm not talking to George W. about this. I'm just gonna blow this shit up. Like, when in doubt, I'm gonna nuke the sucker, or I'm just gonna create more super soldiers / monsters.
It's like we say at work. When in doubt, cut it down.
Yeah, or in this case, blow it up.
Yeah, this guy's got himself an ego now. He already thinks he could beat up God. Apparently.
Yeah, he thinks like, yeah, he can take God.
I'm
I'm like, okay, buddy.
honestly can't wait for him to read Galactus, which he does, and he freaks out because I'm like, he deserves some like ego, like
Yeah, you could humble Ultimate Nick Fury a little bit at least. Like,
yeah.
take him down a peg or two.
Let's show him real Galactus one day, which we will.
Yeah. And then Tarleton is like fighting the Vision, and the Vision is like phasing through these heat blasts, but Tarleton has some tricks from Galactus on how to counter like Vision's phasing power, has all these like contingency plans. He's basically like Batman with prep time, as they say. But luckily, outside of the fight, while that's happening, the Vision manages to like remotely take control of the station, meaning that she manages to like accelerate the speed of the crash. So she's like, I'm just going to take us down harder and faster. We're all just going to die that much quicker. But meanwhile, she like runs out with Dima, and they escape through the garbage chute in the back.
Like the movie Aliens.
Yeah. Or like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I forgot Star Wars. They do just go through the trash chute at a few points.
Yeah, the trash compactor.
Yeah, there's a trash
Classic,
compactor
baby.
monster.
Yeah, exactly. Iconic. But then as they're all like landing on Earth, like Vision and Dima are like entering Earth's atmosphere, and they see the satellite crashing through the Earth, and the Vision figures out, oh, Galactus was using the satellite not only to repower itself, but then also to like shield itself from the impact of entering the Earth. So she's like, oh shit, Galactus is alive and well now and is on Earth.
Yep,
So
Galactus
this is bad.
Finally on the planet Earth, which we were trying to avoid this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, at least parts of Galactus, but still, that's like part of a swarm is still quite something to deal with.
Vision is flying around, and she just drops Demon saying, I'll come back for you.
Yeah, it's so funny. She's like, you know what? I'll be right back. She drops demons, just falling through the sky.
Because she's made out of plastic, so she might live.
Maybe.
Well, plastic actually, now that I think about it, like, does crack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty vulnerable to breaking and crashing.
And during this whole time, Fury scrambles like the Air Force.
Yeah, it gets a bunch of fighter planes to converge on the area. Meanwhile, the Vision goes up to the Galactus unit and like rips off like the virus transmitters so that it can't infect more people with this zombie virus.
Yeah.
And does it with enough time to like swoop back down, grab Dima, and fly back off. So she saves the girl at the end too, at least.
She is like a super robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's there devoted to protecting life. But the fighter planes attack Galactus, but Galactus just wipes them all out with a bunch of lasers. Yeah. So nice try, Fury.
Fury just sent a lot of innocent pilots to their death.
And Fury's now like, well, when in doubt, escalate. And I'm like, dude, is your go-to move always just to escalate?
This was written in the 2000s, and I believe we now know, like, that was, like, the Bush people's, like, official policy was when in doubt, escalate.
Yeah.
And that's the official policy again now for some reason.
He's clearly working for the Bush administration, because all he does is escalate the situation. He's never just thought, like, hey, maybe let's reassess. He's like, nah, let's just go bigger.
Yeah, I feel sad for the pilots.
Yeah, like, they're the ones dying and getting blown up. Like, at a certain point, like, one of them like makes it out of their plane with the chute, and the Vision is helpless but to just watch as Galactus just incinerates this guy in his seat.
I shouldn't laugh. That's funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Tarleton is still alive and flies down to attack the Vision. And they get into this very strange, like, physical / like mental battle as like they exchange like data through their like cybernetic minds. I have no idea how this works.
I think they're trying to hack each other.
Yeah. They're as machines, they're trying to like hack each other. And the Vision then uses her ability to speak any language to like speak a language that's based on like chemical pheromones that then in essence is shooting the Doctor with sanity. Yeah. So, like, getting him to just reframe his mind and, like, reset his mind so he's not possessed by Galactus.
Yeah, and it kind of works, and he goes, and he admits, hey, I made a mistake, which I respect. I think that's, like, any character that admits they can make a mistake, I will always be, like, give them credit for.
All
Real
right,
or
so he
fictional?
nearly ends the world, and he's like, "I made a mistake," and you're like, "Wow, I respect you. You're so
There's a
brave."
there's a level of humility you have to have for you not to double down to go like, I made a mistake. I'm reversing course.
He's like, "I'm myself again," and she's like, "That's not good.
But
Like, you
then he
caused all
apologized.
this to begin with when you were in your right mind."
And then what does he say? He says, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And he's sad about it. He's on the ground.
Damn. If Hitler apologized, what would you say?
I was like, that's really mature, Hitler. We're still gonna
Oh my
execute. We're
god,
gonna
Josh.
execute you. We're gonna execute you. But like, you'll be executed with the knowledge that at least you made a mistake and you're honest about it.
Yeah, well, if Tarleton gets punished, that's fine, but at least he apologized too.
I shouldn't we look. The problem with like all our problems right now is that people don't apologize for their mistakes. They don't move on. I think it shows a level of deep self-reflection and humility and even care about other people if you're willing to make mistakes and willing to admit to your mistakes, your personal failures and flaws.
He's only doing that because it's in his self-interest now.
We don't know that.
He's like, I can't make money off of this anymore. It's out of my control. I guess we should save the world.
This is why one of my favorite Doctor Strange is the one from What If, who apologizes and says he made a mistake when the world is ending. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I remember. That's a very good episode of What If.
Yeah, and and he's not going like, I doubled down, I gotta keep doing this. He goes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to destroy the world. And
But
others
you
shouldn't.
did.
But he literally is sad about it. He goes like, others shouldn't suffer for my own mistakes, and I'm sorry. And there's like deep, sincere, especially because Benedict Cumberbatch admits like he put all his like acting skills into. There's like deep sincerity in when he admitted that he's flawed and he made a mistake, and is sorry for putting others in danger for his own arrogance.
SMH. I am shaking my head so hard right now.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, like, this guy knew what he was doing. He knew the forces he was messing with. He literally integrated the system of a world devourer, like planet eater, planet destroyer into his systems. This dude was playing with fire, to say the very least.
And he apologized for playing with fire.
Oh, well, I guess it's okay then.
It's not okay, but like, come on. We always tell kids in school, say you're sorry, don't double down. When you make a mistake, you say you're sorry and you
Yeah,
move
that's
on.
like if you like knock someone over on the playground or something. That's not when you like nearly destroy the world.
That's just like the next step for an adult when you knock someone over.
Oh my god.
You start by knocking a few kids over, and then when you're 50, you're destroying the world.
All right. We're going in circles here. Let's move
Okay.
on. But Galactus lands at the Edwards Air Force Base in Arizona.
It's
and
in
then
California.
Oh, in California, sorry.
Yeah, I grew up near it.
Nice.
It's in LA.
Well, Galactus is there where you grew up.
Yeah.
And the Vision
It's my
has
hometown.
Tarleton track Galactus to this base, and of course they leave Dima outside for her safety. And I think there is this sweet exchange of dialogue where like Tarleton's like, wow, you're concerned for this kid? And Vision's like, yeah, like she feels fear and she fears loneliness. Like she still has feelings and emotions and she's basically a person. So I'm like not just gonna abandon her and like leave her.
She even talks about like, once this is all over, we'll find a family for you.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah, and the demon goes, no, I want to travel with you. It's because like this, it really frames this as like there's this sisterly or even maternally relationship between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably because they're both kind of robots.
Yeah, there is that connection and that feeling of kinship that they have because like they are so similar and they come from such similar places that the Vision can't help but see some of herself, I think, in this little child, Dima.
Dima, it's like, oh, her whole point is that like she's kind of this AI that learned. Her IQ stopped growing at the age of 6, but then in their first encounter, Vision actually teaches her to move past a specific pattern she couldn't move past. And Vision herself is like a pattern recognition robot in a way.
Yeah, so she's like an older sister or a mother.
Yeah,
to this child.
It reminds a lot of the Alien movie with like Ripley and the little kid.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about from the second movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, Aliens is great.
I convinced my ex to watch, and she was high the whole time. And she was like, "What are they scared of in the first one?" I said, "There's an evil chicken killing people," and she was truly believed it was a chicken for a few times.
Oh well, that's so funny.
Like it popped out of someone's chest, and she was like, "That's not a chicken."
Man, that's a dirty trick, Josh.
It's a great trick.
It's really funny. Yeah.
Thank you.
Props to you.
Thank you.
But they get to Edwards Air Force Base and it's dead silent, which never good. It's always the thing of it's too quiet. And the Vision and Tarleton then get overwhelmed by a bunch of zombie aliens. And then there's like a tremor in the earth, and Vision's like, oh no, it's about to happen. Galactus is going to try and devour the planet. The process has begun.
Yep.
And then issue 4 ends with there's someone in a helicopter about to be deployed. And who is it? It's the Falcon himself, Sam Wilson, diving towards the base. So I'm like, hell yeah. Let's do this.
He looks very much like the 616 version with like the tan shirt, like the military tan shirt. The wings are all gray now.
Again, this look very much inspired the MCU Falcon.
Yeah, I did not know this until I read this. It was like, this is just the MCU Falcon. Yeah.
Yeah, who later becomes Captain America.
Not anymore.
Hey, don't talk to me about Doomsday, son. I'll fuck you up.
I hope it's a good movie.
I hope so too, but I don't know. I'm skeptical. Anyways, beginning issue 5, like Vision and Tarleton are overwhelmed by these zombie aliens, but luckily the Falcon swoops in and literally saves the day.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, the Ultimates are being scrambled, but I'm the closest, so here I am.
And he goes, for a lady, you sure have some sleazy company to Vision. And I'm like, you disgusting horn dog.
I mean, that's fun dialogue, but yeah, the rest is like, don't lust after this alien robot, buddy.
Yeah.
But then Galactus, like, puts up this giant plasma force field around the base, and the three of them, Tarleton, Falcon, and Vision, they all flee the base.
And, they just solved this Galactus thing, and now, once again, they have 40 minutes to save the Earth before Galactus eats the planet.
They have less time than they did the first time. They do the calculation of, like, how long it takes until Galactus reaches the Earth core, and they're like, 40 minutes. They're like, cool.
This is the problem with humanity. It's like, this is the thing I do believe. It's like, humanity, even if we solve it, we're greedy enough just to start it again, just because we can.
Yeah.
Like, we wiped out measles, we brought it back just because we can.
Just because we can.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they come up with a plan to shut down the plasma window. What they're going to do is that it's this whole thing about refraction, is they're using this, like, laser that Tarleton comes up with to reflect it off of the Falcon's wings. It doesn't make too much sense to me, but apparently it's going to disable the plasma force field. So I'm like, cool. And the Vision is talking to Dima, like we were talking about earlier. She's telling her, like, don't be afraid. Like, it's funny, this exchange, because Dima's like, I don't know what the word is for what I'm feeling. And Vision is like, oh, I know the word. It's fear. I don't know the feeling. You know the feeling, but not the word. So it's this funny feeling of, like, almost symmetry between the two characters.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see her comforting this child. It is very sweet.
I like the idea of, like, Vision traveling the galaxy with this kid. It makes sense. You like the idea of, like, a character ending their story by going out into space to warn the world, but her not being alone.
Yeah, and there's hope for the future when there is a child involved and when she's taking care of this child and nurturing her. Like, this is the potential for the future that they have.
It's a very human desire and thing.
Exactly.
And in a way, it's like these robots are discovering aspects of their humanity as they spend more time with humanity.
Yeah, and what's funny is that neither of them are technically speaking humans, so...
Oh, yeah.
But there's still so much humanity there. Mm-hmm. And then the Vision says she plans on, like, talking Galactus to death with, like, another language that's, like, an alien language that will, like, shut him down.
It's kind of like the first idea where she was like, I could just beam enough stuff into him to, like, immobilize him and scare him a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the shield is shut down, luckily, because they go through with the plan. And when the Falcon's, like, reflecting this light off of him, he's like, there's so much color in this light. And he's like, I feel like the fairy on top of a damn Christmas tree.
It was just Christmas for us.
Which is, so Merry Late Christmas to us.
Oh, ho, ho.
Oh, oh, oh. Anyways, the Vision then attacks Galactus using, like, a series of alien languages, which is really fun to see, like, visually, like, the lettering and, like, just the art style on this. It's almost like she's casting spells to use against him as she uses these languages to fight Galactus. And then while this is happening, Dr. Tarleton is outside doing some shady stuff because then he uses, like, a code word to activate Dima to do this self-destruct, because he sends Dima in there and this little girl arrives in front of Galactus and literally blows up, which damages Galactus. And Josh is laughing because he's
this
evil.
Is hilarious.
This little girl blew up Josh.
She's not a little girl, she's a robot.
Oh my god, we just talked about how much humanity she had in her. And
but
you're like, she blew up.
It's kind of fun. I would do this all the time in Call of Duty. Oh, not Call of Duty, in Battlefield, which is to put bombs on my own teammates and they weren't looking. When they get surrounded, blow them up.
Jeez, that's so evil. That's shady as hell. This is
It's
what Josh wrote in the script, everyone. Hell yeah, that's what I'd do.
you
Reminds me
would,
of the Aliens movie.
yeah. Like for some reason, I know this is not what happened, but like kind of for some reason, I always thought like, oh, I remembered it wrong. Where like she fights the final alien, she just kills it by killing the kid. I know that's not what happens, but I just
Yeah, that's definitely not what happened. You don't see Ripley just sending in this little kid to die and blowing her up like a suicide bomber.
Walter White did it in Breaking Bad.
He didn't do it with a kid.
He did it with an old lady.
I don't remember him blowing up an old lady.
He wants to know if the twins are inside the house, so he sends an old lady to check up on his house.
Oh, an old man. No, he used Hector to blow up Gus at the end of
Oh,
season
he did.
4.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He uses Hector, but there's a scene where the twins are in the house, and he sends an old lady to check it out to see if they kill her if they're in the house, and they don't. There's also the Joker does it in Dark Knight, where he puts a cell phone inside a guy's stomach. I
And you
never.
think that's cool?
I thought it was cool.
Oh my god, you are a supervillain.
I'm not a
Cameron was
super.
right.
No, no,
You're a
it's called.
supervillain who thinks he's right.
Also, it's like people sometimes put bombs on animals, or they put bombs in cars, and then they drive like say like they pay a guy, hey, just drop this like package off to this building, and right before they get to the building, they push a button, the car blows up.
Josh,
You
you're
know?
the reason why I drink. Back to the story.
Yeah,
The
it works.
it damages Galactus. The explosion damages Galactus, and the vision damages and like finishes off Galactus and like kills and destroys this part of the swarm before confronting Tarleton. And Tarleton, while he's like being like held at a chokehold by the vision, is like, Dima was meant to be a munition. She was made to be like a bomb originally.
She's made out of plastic for bombs, like plastique.
Yeah. And then the vision rips Tarleton apart, like rips him in half, rips his head off, and chucks Tarleton's head so far away. And before she does that, she says something that I think is a really cold line. She's like, Galactus was the very definition of a monster to me. But then I met you. And I was like, yeah, damn, like, damn. Like, that's a cold line. And I think it very much speaks to, like, a lot of ideas in the story where humanity can be worse than the monster we're trying to save humanity from.
Yeah.
In many ways, which I find very interesting in the story. Like, again, they spent a whole trilogy like working towards saving the planet from Galactus, and they're like, well, some of these guys might be kind of worse because they're just like dooming us all right after we save the world from Galactus.
I think Ultimate Galactus is worse, kind of ish, but like humans are kind of worse than regular Galactus because regular Galactus is just eating planets because it's his nature to eat. Like a human eats a chicken, and these guys are just,
they're just out for money and greed and power.
This is me being a nerd. Have you seen the animated Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman movie with Supergirl?
Yes. Yeah. Superman, Batman, Apocalypse.
I don't know if this was in the original comic, but I remember there's like a line where Darkseid goes like, yeah, you humans are worse than me if you really think about it deep down. And I admire that.
Yeah. Yeah, when Darkseid says he admires you for how bad you are and how horrible you are as a species, that's when you got to take a long look in the mirror. And then at the end of the issue, the Falcon's talking to Nick Fury, and he's like, you got to destroy that Galactus unit. You got to incinerate it. You got to get rid of it. You got to melt it down for slag. And Fury's like, out of my hands. Like, we're not going to destroy it. And I'm like, idiots. At every given chance, S.H.I.E.L.D. will repurpose a weapon, or they will use a formula or try something again and think that they can do it better. I'm like, you guys are playing with fire. Destroy it. Sam is right.
This is the theme of Ultimate Marvel, is just S.H.I.E.L.D. just makes things worse.
Yeah, they're constantly just making things worse.
That's kind of like Tony Stark and the MCU, where he just makes every problem a bit worse.
Because he thinks that he can help and he thinks he can save everyone, but I'm like, no, you're playing with fire and forces that are out of your control at the end of the day.
I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. is just the other side of Dr. Tarleton, where they go like, yeah, they're not exploiting humanity for money, but they are just like, look, you destroyed the evil, you could just win, or you could, risk playing with fire again, and which they're gonna do.
Yeah, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them. Wink, wink. Probably will.
Yeah.
And then the Vision is talking about how her flight systems have been damaged by AIM. So while they're repairing, like she can't fly into outer space for like a month now, which I find interesting because this reminded me of after the Galactus trilogy, the Silver Surfer was like banished to Earth by Galactus and like prevented from soaring the spaceways anymore. He was just exiled to Earth and couldn't leave the atmosphere. So this feels very similar to that because Ultimate Vision, again, is like basically a hybrid of the Silver Surfer and the OG Vision.
Yeah.
So I think that was an interesting ending.
And then Sam gives her a key to his apartment because he was like, "You need a place to crash." And I'm like, she doesn't need to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Like she doesn't have the same biological functions as you do, but thanks for that's a sweet gesture.
And he just has a spare key.
Yeah, because he's been waiting for this. He's been waiting to give it to her for so long now. You just know it. He's like, you want to crash at my place?
It's from Parks and Rec where Tom just goes around to girls he likes and just gives them spare keys to his apartment.
Yeah.
And he just has like a ton of spare keys.
Yeah, seriously. Sam Wilson is the Tom Haverford of the Ultimate Marvel.
Yeah. It's either him or Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Well, as we'll see later, Scarlet Witch is worse.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, it just gets worse and worse.
I can't wait. Ultimates 3, baby.
I think once we hit the new Ultimates, it just goes on like this weird debauched downhill.
Yeah, Ultimates 3 leading into Ultimatum is a wild ride, and I cannot wait.
Yeah. I believe that's in 1 or 2 weeks for us.
Oh, it's going to be a little while. Ultimates 2 is next.
Oh, Ultimates 2 is also pretty debauched, let's be fair.
It's tame by comparison, sadly.
Yeah.
But then the issue ends, this whole series ends with like an epilogue of like a lizard in the desert, and it gets eaten by Tarleton, who is literally just a walking head now, which is very funny because that's very much like MODOK in the main universe. It's like a giant head.
Yeah.
And he's still alive, and he's like contacting his AIM base. So this might not be the last we've seen of him. He's still alive, but that's it. That's like all of Ultimate Vision. Bada bing, bada boom.
Boom.
Any final thoughts, Josh?
No, I think I said a lot. It's one of those things where I feel like this was not a bad comic. This was, if anything, it was a pretty fun comic, a pretty good comic. It just felt like it's the same thing with like the Wolverine going away. You're a little tired of like the premise because it just happens over and over. And to be fair, a lot of that is because we read it 1 week after its release.
Yeah, that's true. So not a whole lot of time to breathe after that, because we did just go through like this end of the world scenario with Galactus in Ultimate Extinction, and now we're doing it again in Ultimate Vision.
I would not be surprised if you read it as it was being released 1 week at a time. It was a little different, and it felt different.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, to give it like points, this series does a lot to flesh out the character of Ultimate Vision and like make her kind of her own unique thing, this cross between Vision and Silver Surfer. And at the same time, some like new being too, and like her connection to Dima, this child, and like the tragic end of that. And I think also just the focus on the themes of like greed and like how humanity, like while it was worth saving, still has some parts that like aren't so great and like almost destroyed and doomed the world again just out of like avarice. It was pretty interesting.
I do like the idea that of humans as a species, one of our unique features is that we're just inherently greedier than everyone else.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that, and it was interesting. I enjoyed reading it. It did kind of feel like a slog at times, though, just because I was like, I feel like we've seen a good chunk of these plot beats before.
Yeah.
Like the character stuff and the themes that we're focused on were interesting, but like the actual premise itself was like, okay, so we're just doing Vision versus AIM versus Galactus again. Like, okay, all right, but it was interesting. I'm glad we read it. Josh, you want to tell everyone what we're reading next time? Do you know what we're reading next time?
We're gonna do Ultimates, I believe.
That's right. We're back with the Ultimates. We're going to be starting the Ultimates 2. And we're going to be reading issues 1 through 6 of the second volume of the Ultimates. I'm very excited to get back to this.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much to talk about. In the meantime, Josh, where can our listeners contact us if they want to talk about our podcast, the comics we read, comics in general, or pretty much anything?
It is ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com. That's comics plural and podcast singular. So ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. And please email us. We'd love to like get your email, read it on an episode of this podcast, and respond to you. But again, if that's too old-timey for you, which we're getting the feeling it might be, we have plenty of social media. You can follow us at Ultimate Comics Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We have full episodes with video on YouTube. We have plenty of fun TikToks and Reels on Instagram, and we also post plenty of images from the comics we cover on Instagram. So please follow and like and comment. We love interacting with all of our social media followers. And yeah, until next time, we'll be talking about the Ultimates 2, number 1 through 6. So be there for it. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Until then, take care and make my Ultimate Marvel. Bye bye.